You are listening to a Dynamic Works Productions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast. I'm your host, as always, author, podcaster, gamer, and as of late, streaming a whole fuckload, Tim K. Trotter. Joining me, as always, is the one, the only, the natiest of foos, Nate Foo. And surprise holdover guest, making his 6th appearance on the show. The one,
it is officially 6, yes.
the only, the clowniest of Smiths, Sir Gregory Smith.
Hello.
Jeez.
Welcome back, Greg. It was it seemed
been
like we
so
just
long.
had you on yesterday.
I know.
I don't know if these are going to be released back to back or if there's going to be some cadence between them. So who the hell knows what our
probably
audience
go first,
is going
and
to
then this will be
right.
This will be later.
Or how this is going to be received by the audience. But yeah, if they're released back to back, yes, we recorded a Kickstarter campaign
Way to ruin it.
featuring Mr. Smith and another artist that he was featuring, and then because we're here, decided to roll right back into an official Fork in Your Ear episode.
Sweet. Well, as is tradition, let's not belabor any points. We're gonna spin the ring. We've landed on water. Nate, what's water? I don't remember.
I don't have the Discord open. Remember, we have an issue with screens today.
What?
Fuck.
I stuck around for this?
Yeah, let's see if I can bring it up
No,
on the
I got
phone.
it.
Okay. I should
So
bring it up
water
anyways.
is topic of entertainment.
Yay.
And boy, has there been some stuff happening there. First, sad stuff. Famous composer Vangelis, Oscar-winning Blade Runner composer, as well as Chariots of Fire, has passed away at 79 years old. Super sad. I was a huge fan of his work. Like super early on. Like I was familiar with Vangelis when, honestly, a young child of me should not have been familiar with his work. It was him and Christopher Franke, who's of course of Tangerine Dream. They were often spoken of within the same sentence for their synth trailblazing, melancholy, like industrial before anybody knew what industrial was style of music. So very sad to lose someone. Obviously 79 is up there, not crazy old, but sucks, and further sucks because the report here from Gizmondo is that he was hospitalized for COVID and succumbed to that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was a fan of his because I didn't put two and two together until seeing the article. It's like, oh, he did that.
Yeah.
Oh, he did that. Oh, he did that. Okay. He was never one of those. His name was never on the tip of my tongue because just it's a lot of his work is it's unique, but it's understated, right?
Well, and something to consider with Vangelis, considering he's on the forefront, particularly those 80s movies. Uh, this was when there wasn't computer programming synth like it is now. Like there are
Hmm.
dudes moving chords and changing sliders and probably getting electrocuted. And
Right.
exactly, like just all kinds of madness. So like that's it just sucks. It just sucks. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say on that one.
Way to bring the show down right from the top.
Well,
Seriously.
I gotta bring us down to bring us back up, right?
Man.
Why don't we hotball it over to Greg? What you been watching or listening or reading that could be considered entertainment?
Entertainment.
What's spicy?
What's spicy?
What's
So
what's fresh on the brainwaves?
fresh on the brainwaves. I've been behind the times on stuff
Okay.
because I'm just we talked
You're busy.
previously. I'm a busy guy, so I'm trying to catch up on things that I haven't had in my foresight in a minute, and a couple of the shows that I'm like, oh hey, I should really watch this because everybody's talking about it. I was super excited because my wife was like, oh, I'm gonna head out and do this convention, and you're home by yourself, and I was super excited because I was like, sweet, I'm gonna log into Disney Plus, and it'd been a minute, and it wanted to have a password, and I didn't know if it was under me or under her, and I couldn't remember if it was my password or her password, and it only let me watch TV 14 and below until I could figure out whose password it was, and finally starting to watch and catch up on all those great shows that came out like a year ago. So,
Oh, so you're like watching Boba Fett and Mandalorian and
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then jumping back over, I was like I said, I was like super excited because I was like, oh man, I'm gonna watch these things. But because I was on a hold on that for a minute, I watched oh, I'm gonna mess this up, man. What's that? The Ryan Reynolds movie that came out
Free Guy?
on the
Or
Free Guy?
no,
not
the other
Free
one.
Guy. I couldn't watch that. The one that was on where he goes back in time to meet his
The
younger
Adam
self.
Project.
Adam
Yes.
Project. Yeah, I watched that because I couldn't get into. I could get into Netflix, but I couldn't get into Disney Plus. So
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn you!" Well, I'll watch this instead because this looks really fun, and I thoroughly had a good time watching it.
Adam Project was surprisingly absurdly good movie. Like
I think it's interesting because Adam Project and Free Guy are both written and directed by the same dude.
mhm.
Like they're the same dude, and they're reteaming again for Deadpool 3. So
Oh,
like
wow.
Ryan Reynolds and this dude, I can't remember the director writer's name unfortunately right now. He's also a co-creator on Stranger Things, and it's like, the fuck? This dude's as busy as Greg Smith over here. Like, what the hell?
Man.
Like, what?
They must gel really well. Like
Obviously.
and it kind of showed in obviously in Free Guy,
Mhm.
and in Adam Project. Like they're the comedic chops between the two of them. Like he writes it well, and it's right in Ryan's wheelhouse to play it well.
For sure. I mean, I think
So-
Ryan
If
Reynolds
dude
is
ever
just
needs a
stupid
helper to write stuff, I will jump in and be there because I think he and I have the same energy.
Oh yeah, probably, probably for sure. So that's
Just throwing it out
cool. Did you feel the Adam Project had sequel chops?
I felt like it ended sincerely and nicely. I mean,
Mhm.
it could have if you wanted to push that envelope to go that route, but I feel like it was a nice sealed envelope. They sealed that envelope, they put a stamp on it and sent it off to you. You opened it up, you got it, you didn't need to return it back to sender.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's too bad because Netflix says sequel. So after
Well, I
Deadpool
mean,
after
they
Deadpool 3,
can,
they're
but-
apparently doing another Adam Project. So
It's one of those, there's a lot of things where they just leave it open ended, and
sure.
a lot of times that leaves you like, okay. And if it never happens, again, I think you and I have had this discussion, Tim, with Sarah Connor Chronicles,
Mm,
right? They
the
cliffhangered the heck out of that
tragedy.
ending, and it was just like, it's gone,
Oh
It
man,
was ahead of its time, man.
right?
Pun
it
intended,
was so good.
literally, because
So
Yeah.
to have something that good, and it's very rare now to have something that good, and then it just goes, it ends, and it's concise, and it can stop right there and stand on its own. It's nice to see.
yeah, I need to get back to that one because Jessica hasn't seen it, and it's the last box to check on the task that my father-in-law gave me because she hadn't seen any Terminator films, and I fixed that. But that's the last piece of Terminator thing that she needs to absorb.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
that was
actually
such a
one of
good
the
series.
holdups was I think I have like a bad quality digital version through iTunes, but I haven't picked up the Blu-ray box set yet. I still need to. Pretty sure it's on the list somewhere on Amazon, but yeah, so it goes. What about yourself, Nate? Have you had time to not be a burning all of the candles at all of the ends person to absorb some media this week?
I finished the card. I
Oh,
like the way they ended that one.
yeah, I'm solid, right?
Right. Again, speaking of previous, that stands on its own. It doesn't need another season. If it
Too
stopped right
bad
there,
you're
I'm
getting
fine with
one.
it. Huh?
Too
No, I
bad you're
know. But
getting one.
again, it doesn't need one. It ended very nicely. And
Why is
yeah,
Greg
and then there's
rubbing on his
Halo.
arm right now? What's happening?
What is that? You
You
have
have like a fake tattoo
something
you're rubbing on?
Starfleet?
Oh, you're muted.
I got a tattoo last week, a new tattoo, and
Oh.
I'm trying to put lotion on it. I was trying to be quiet. I put
Oh,
myself on
Oh,
mute,
okay. I was just
and then
like,
you had to
gotcha.
ask questions.
Well, we thought you were raising. We're like, I have a
No,
question. Do you see this? Right.
no, I was just putting
Okay.
lotion.
Okay. Fair
I
enough.
was lotioning myself.
It's a visual bit.
wow.
But yeah, I mean, we finished Halo, and okay,
we have to be
that's where they're
polite
going with
about
it.
spoilers for
Right.
our guest here.
Well, it's been out for it's been over a week now.
No, Halo just finished yesterday.
No,
Yes.
did I miss an episode? Am I missing one?
Maybe you're fucking missing one, dude.
Well, then maybe I'm about to have my
Okay,
my whistle
question.
blown because I thought I
Question,
looked it up.
Nate.
Huh.
Did main
Yes.
characters die? If it's taking this long to respond, you have missed an
No.
episode.
Okay. My Paramount has lied to me then. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Because I
So
logged in on Thursday. It was like, okay, I guess we're still on the same episode.
nope.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's a season finale. I mean, I guess I'll be the only one to speak about it then, who's seen it. Unless Greg, have you been watching the Halo TV series somehow?
I have not.
Okay.
I've not.
Do you care about that franchise at all?
I do, but that's okay. You can. I mean,
When you get to it,
mhm.
if you care about the franchise, just go in knowing they mostly tried.
Okay.
Just,
Okay. They mostly tried. Mostly tried.
and an open mind, and maybe the chief has sex.
That's, I think, the last episode I saw. That's okay. Yep.
That's Greg's
What?
face.
Yeah, I saw the racy, which I thought it was going to be racier. The way everyone was talking about it,
It
I'm
was
like,
tasteful sex scene.
It was very tasteful. Yeah, it was.
There.
Hey,
Anyway, I
we're
don't
kissing,
want to
and
ruin it
then-
too much. It's its own
Yeah.
thing. It doesn't follow canon.
No.
It's
It never did, though. It never tried to.
which makes it all the more frustrating when it does follow canon.
Because you're like, it's this and it's that. Why can't you just be the same thing that I love? No.
Well, I'm fine with a different take on it, but it's
Yeah.
when that take goes way the fuck over
Right.
someplace else
It's way
and
off.
is not near the source material that it gets uncomfortable.
Mm.
I'll say this, Nate, about the
Sure.
season finale. There's some things that happen that bring it much in it. It ends in a nicer place. It left me feeling okay, cool. I am hopeful for season 2, and they're also getting a new showrunner for season 2, so I'm hopeful for the retconning.
Okay. Oh
And,
boy.
and
Okay.
there's I'll say this. I mean, the action was awesome in the finale. It was
Yeah,
really
it's queued up. I'll watch it after we're done here, and my wife will hate me. Um. So yeah, we'll move off of Halo until the next time.
sure.
And yeah, I started Strange New Worlds.
Oh, nice. So I've only seen the first episode.
Okay.
What'd you think?
I loved the first episode.
It was great, right?
It was
Also,
very good.
really expensive looking. Like you look
It,
at it and it's like, dude,
and it gets
how much
better.
money do
Just
they
so you
spend
know,
on this
we're
bitch?
I'm 3 episodes in, and it just gets better.
How can you be 3 episodes? Are you living in a different timeline than me? Like, isn't episode
No,
2 this week?
apparently I'm watching Strange New Worlds while you're watching Halo, and I'm catching up on that. There's 3 episodes of Strange New Worlds now.
Oh, he passed
Okay,
you, dude.
I'm very confused then. Okay, well, I've only seen the pilot then. And it was a damn good
Yes.
pilot.
It's a dandy pilot, yes.
Yeah,
He's
damn
living
good
in a
pilot.
36-hour day.
It's 48 hours and it's on Centauri
Oh.
time. The callback to a previous episode. Um
And this is why you don't skip episodes, fans.
yeah,
That's
this is
right.
why you don't skip episodes. Yeah. There you go.
Right?
Bringing it back around. Um yeah, I thought it was good. I think having watched Discovery, a lot of the cast comes from that season 2 of Discovery. So them gelling together was never going to be like an issue going into the show. It was always going to be, well, what kind of show is it on its own? Is it just glitzed up 2022, the original series with fancy CGI and stuff, or was it a little more substantive? And I think it's the latter. Which
I
is
think so too. Yeah.
yeah, Mr. Future 3 episodes in, been rubbing his face with the time crystals already. I see what's
Man.
There's a particular character that I'm kind of curious, and I need to sit down with someone that's more adept with lore, because I'm trying to wrap my head around that particular character.
Is the character introduced in the pilot?
Yes.
Okay. Did they have a
That
particular
has
last name?
Uh-huh.
Okay, then I
Sue?
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's his
So
daughter.
they get. Yeah. How?
Because the eugenics war was also a cryogenic war.
But she's not Klingon.
Bruh. He was never Klingon. He was in a Klingon
I thought he was.
ship in Wrath of Khan.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it just seemed out of place that she was there and he was not, or it kind of seemed like he was gone, but he's definitely not gone because we have movies after this time with him in it.
Mm-hmm.
In both retcon form and not retcon form.
Well, I mean, because of the first movie, it's not really retcon, but it also is, but it also isn't.
Right.
So if you want to get all Terminator on this shit
So
with the timelines
but
and stuff,
so
you
that's
can.
that's the only one, and that's why I said I need to sit down and talk to someone. Like, how did this? Like, I can't do the mental gymnastics to figure
Sure.
that one out.
Okay.
But yeah, Strange New Worlds feels very, to borrow the parlance, monster of the week.
Okay.
Right,
Interesting.
and I'm really enjoying
Greg's
that.
excited.
That,
I know
that
he
part
loves
of it.
horror.
That's cool.
Cool. Well, right on. Let's see. What did me and the wife watch this week? We watched. Well, I guess it's the last 2 weeks because we're bi-weekly now. We
And
finished.
then we skipped a week.
We finished. Yeah, and we did skip a week. We finished Ozarks, or Ozark. It had a pretty fantastic final season. stuck the landing, in my opinion. Which, when shows go for like 4 or 5 seasons, or like 4 seasons, and then the last season is like 3 fucking parts spread over a fucking year. Ozarks. Um, it becomes a question of like, all right, we have an extended final season. Are they going to stick this landing? Or are they going to meander and drag this poor corpse out and shoot it in
Right.
front of me? And thankfully, by the time you get to the finale, they didn't. They ended in a nice, satisfying a way for people of that particular kind of crime drama, Breaking Bad ish, Sopranos ish type
Mm-hmm.
show. Um, let's see. Obviously, there was Halo. To reiterate this, because I did say this earlier, as Nate already spilled, we did a prior show. Me and the wife just watched Chippendale Rescue Rangers, which just dropped tonight on Disney Plus. It's like ultra fresh in my mind. It is a movie that somehow exists and is somehow fucking good. Like it defies all logic for a simultaneous continuance of the 90s Chippendale Rescue Rangers from the Disney afternoon uh 2 hours or whatever, something like 3 to 4 or something in the afternoon back in the
Mm-hmm.
90s, because I was there for it, and
He
like
was there. He remembers.
it simultaneously is that, but also it's a celebration of all like animation. In
Right.
this movie, there is 2D animation, there is CGI 3D animation, there is CGI animation that looks 2D. There's fucking claymation in this movie. There's Muppets. There is specifically a hilarious segment with 2000 to 2008 shitty like uncanny valley CGI characters. Uh there is the original design ugly Sonic the Hedgehog from the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie that they abandoned, that's like drugged out and with a beer gut signing stuff at a convention to make ends meet, while also being like Chippendale Rescue Rangers was like a TV show back in the 90s and they were actors on it, and now they're all like washed up and like sad and
Right.
stuff, and it's like, this is a Disney movie. What is happening to
I
my
literally
childhood
turned it
right
on
now?
after hearing your description earlier, like, and I had it running in the background on mute and just subtitles. And every time I looked up, I'm like, what the?
It's an hour and a half movie that I could only describe on Who Framed Roger Rabbit levels of,
Yeah.
no one has done this on film in a very, very long time correctly, I'm at, because we're not looking at
Right.
Space Jam 2.
And it's little nuanced stuff like the Who Framed Roger Rabbit Toontown style, the 2D layered animation. It
Yeah,
still has
interacting
that,
with live
like,
action and props
right,
and stuff.
but they didn't smooth it out. They kept the crappy frame rate, right?
And it's really weird because if you look at the trailers, it looks really jarring. You have claymation that's running at that weird, janky
Right.
claymation frame rate. You have ultra buttery smooth modern CGI
Yep.
with 23 frames Disney animation from the 90s. And you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
I know what all of these are, but your brain is just like,
Right.
I have
And
to hear.
to take each one and they're era specific and to give them their frame rate, that's a nice touch. And that's just, I watched 20 minutes of it in between the tail of the last episode, the break, and this one, and it's just like, I noticed that with it muted.
you just had it running.
Right. Yeah. Well,
You
I got
mad loon.
subtitles on. I got subtitles on. I'm an old
But
man. Subtitles
there's
are
a
always on.
crazy voice cast for
I
this.
will go back and watch it. Trust me. But yeah, it's just like seeing something like that. I'm just okay. You sold me just with your description earlier. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is just the kind of madhouse that I love to watch.
Oh, it's insane. It's
It
insane,
sounds
but
right.
it's
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of my all-time favorite movies, just because it's amazing how they did everything.
yeah, and they're doing it again. And
Yeah.
actually before the
Failing
show,
it.
we were able to pop onto YouTube and we were able to look up a couple of behind the scenes, and like, oh yeah, no, they had like, plastic stuff on set. Sometimes they
Right.
had puppets. Sometimes they had this. Sometimes they had, of course, the old chrome ball for CGI and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
And then other people in
Tennis ball on a PVC pipe.
and then other
Yeah.
people in like green screen suits, and then of course Muppets, like Muppet
Mhm.
Muppets.
Muppet
Like
Muppets.
what the hell, like it. But as I was saying earlier, it goes so far beyond just Chippendale's Rescue Ranger. And yes, that's the title of the film. That's the central thing. But it has every fucking thing I can possibly think of from the 80s and 90s and like early 2000s cartoons. Like
Right. Like
literally
there was that Transformer
everything is.
cameo.
There's
Yeah.
Transformers, South Park, Simpsons, King of the Hill, Sonic the Hedgehog, Care Bears, fucking Gumby. Just like it is just a shit smorgasbord of everything you could possibly think of in a coherent movie. Like there is a scene where like Seth Rogen, who's voiced a number of animated characters over the years, are all talking to each other. Like fucking Mantis from Kung Fu Panda is talking to fucking Timon and to Pumbaa, who's talking to the fucking slime thing from that other DreamWorks movie, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening in this film right now? Like, this is
Right.
incredible. Like
They're
who,
all here.
yeah, it's like a fucking Smash Brothers fucking roster. There's a scene with Batman versus E.T. There's
Right.
fucking.
I think that's where I finally shut it off. I'm just like, no, this is crazy. And yeah, there's the little flashback, like they drop them into a Full House episode.
Yeah,
Like,
fucking.
what?
Yeah, that's their secret premiere. How they got their start in TV grade.
Yeah.
Was they were in the background dancing in a Full House episode. Like
Oh,
it's
wild.
like, oh, what is happening? It's insane. But like, the jokes are pretty funny. Solid deliveries from John Mulaney and Andy Samberg. Fucking Monterey Jack is played by fucking Eric Bana of all people. Which is juxtaposed to Gadget, who's played by the original voice actor Tress MacNeille, who's got to be like 90 fucking years old or something. But she's still amazing. The fucking fly that never talks is voiced by Dennis Haysbert. That big booming voice of God. And you're just like,
What?
this movie is wow.
Okay, so
It's insane.
and our recommendal is go watch this.
Yeah,
watch
me
this.
and my wife got to the end, and my wife was like, she did not want to watch the movie. I was like, we're watching this movie. She's like, I don't want to watch this movie. The trailer looked terrible. I don't need my
I
childhood
saw the trailer
back.
and I'm like, I'm done. Yeah,
And admittedly, the trailer is bad. Like it makes it look
is
bad. Like it's not good. But if you watch the movie, it's like it has heart. It has every fucking character known to man.
Hey,
the
there's
jokes
Roger Rabbit.
land. What? Like whoever cut their trailer together was not doing a good job. And
Or
it's
they
just
wanted to leave you that mystery.
it's just wild. And like I was saying earlier on the prior podcast, the conceit of the movie is Chip and Dale had a falling out, which is why Rescue Rangers got canceled in the 90s. One of them hates the other one and resents them for their show being canceled. And then Monterey Jack is kidnapped by a underground druggish ring of cartoon characters who are lasering off cartoon body parts in this weird body hoarder, like, uh, uh, cartoon trafficking ring. Like, it's like, if you
Parting them out.
yeah, like, it's it's insane. Like, there's a point in the movie where somebody's screaming, "Oh my god, my ear has turned into a Snoopy ear," and they're like freaking out because it's not their cartoon character's cartoon style, and it's just
Yeah.
like, what mad fever dream brought this upon us? And how is it coherent? Like, it doesn't, like, if you read anything about it, if you see any trailer about it, if people like me are explaining it to you, you're just like, there's no way that possibly works. And it's not a fucking disaster. And yet, when the credits rolled, me and Jessica were just like, holy fuck, we want another one of these. Like, what is this? Give me more of whatever this fucking shit is. You know? And it's
So
so weird because it's on Disney Plus, and yeah, it's got all this stuff, but it's like, it's made for us. It's made for the
Right.
generation after, like, who grew up after, because they swear in this fucking thing. And I'm like, this is a
Right.
fucking Disney Plus movie? Like, you know, and nothing like crazy. You know, they sell like like hell, damn, crap, ass, and you
Right.
know,
It still
and like
maintains its
screw
PG
you
rating.
and stuff like this. And it's like, what
Right.
the fuck is happening? It's insane. It's awesome. I can't recommend it enough. I don't know. Like,
not for the children, but definitely for the child in you.
Right.
well, and it does, you know, it does the smart thing where, like, yeah, one could say some of the language is a little more on the crass side, you know, a little more on the, well, the 90s adult animated era type crass, you know, but like, you know, they do a lot of the things that are like walking the line of like, oh, the adults know what that is, but the kid doesn't, is not gonna fucking
Right.
care, you know, because something silly is happening, stuff like all the time. And it's just like, it's so weird because it came out of nowhere. I remember the announcement and I was like, live action Chip and Dale film with Andy Samberg and fucking John Mulaney? Like,
What?
who who greenlights weird stuff like this? Like, I was really against it. I think I probably said it on the show, you know? And I was like, there's no way that's gonna be good. And leading all the way up to starting the movie, that's what where my headspace was. And by the end of the movie, I
The
was,
one and only ugly Sonic.
I cannot fucking believe that shit. As the hardcore Sonic person here, you know, um,
This is great.
like those who
Oh
know
man.
me, and the fact,
Oh, you
and
know what?
not only that, the ugly Sonic is not just a bit in the fucking film. Like, he has like 3 whole
It has a
fucking scenes
purpose.
and a fucking arc. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
and they make fun of the fact that like 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 Dale introduces Chip to him, and Chip's just like looking at the horrific like human teeth, and the camera like zooms in like while he's talking,
Yep.
and he's like, "This is your friend Dale. I can't not look at it." And it's just,
Subtitle:
it's like,
Unsettling
what
music
the fuck?
plays.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
man.
like they leaned so hard into everything, and it's like
I will
how
say,
they
and this
wrangled all this stuff, and like the licensing alone. Like, me and my wife were like, how much fucking money did Disney pay for this? Because there are not Disney characters in this film. I mean, there are a lot of Disney characters, but it's like there's so much stuff, and the voice cast is incredible. Like, J.K. Sims is the fucking claymation police chief, you know,
Mhm.
and it's like, it's insane. I don't know any other way to describe it, but you know, watch it.
In the grander scheme of things, when I start seeing what Disney Plus is doing with, like, I'm just looking at this going, they're just pushing envelopes, and they're like, well, you know, we put a 4-digit pin code, all bets are off.
Well, but
Um,
like, this is not a movie that's behind a 4-digit pin code, you know? Like, that's my point. Like, I'm
plus
just like,
it's
how
beyond
this is insane.
it's beyond TV 14, isn't it?
Chip and Dale?
Yeah,
I don't believe so. I mean, I don't know.
Well, maybe,
I have my
but
pin
I
code
like,
told you the other
inputted.
day.
Yeah, Greg's fucked. He can't see that shit. He ain't watching Daredevil on Disney Plus.
This kind of gives me hope for the upcoming Obi-Wan series that's coming out. Like, if they're willing to push these kind of boundaries and to do them the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I, I can't wait to see what they do with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it just it it's
I
interesting
wasn't
because
excited for it. I really wasn't excited
I
for it.
so I wasn't excited, and I opened Twitter this morning, and people are like, "Yo, ugly Sonic. Yo, there's a fucking transformer high-fiving a fucking Care Bear. Like,
Right.
yo, look at this one, like little fucking TikToks and like little 5-second things and little things." And I was like, none of this. What is this? And then
Right.
I saw the reviews coming in, and people are like, "It's good."
Well, and
Gotta see it.
again, big
Yeah,
picture.
you got to
Like
see it. Nick.
I don't think the issue with Obi-Wan was ever going to be the directors. I always
No.
thought that Disney would somehow hold it back to be Disney, right?
Mm. Well,
So
we'll see. There's still
yeah,
time for that to get messed up. So,
there is,
you know.
but they're pushing it, and that makes me happy.
Indeed. Yeah, so there was that. Because we've been on an odd schedule, I took the wife to see Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, I don't think it was like one of my favorite MCU films, and being a Sam Raimi fan, before Spider-Man, Evil Dead, all that stuff, I'm sure Greg probably enjoys those works.
Oh yes.
It, speaking of pushing envelopes without spoiling anything, Multiverse of Madness is the most bloody and gory Marvel film I have ever seen, including the Deadpool movies that are MCU adjacent now, soon to
Right.
be in. Like, there's like mom school boards like being like, "How did they give this a PG-13 rating? It should have been rated R," or whatever, because like eyeballs are
Hey now.
gouged out, heads are decapitated, people are blown the fuck up in showers of blood, and it's like they must have paid the ratings board off or something. Would be That's my personal thought on that. But overall, it was a very strong.
Or the ratings board was always bullshit to begin with.
I mean, probably is, but Greg looks shocked. He looks like it looks like we just told him that Bart Simpson is voiced by a girl.
I knew that, but I was bleeding the rating boards. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have been able to watch those movies. Oh, what? Oh. Life has been a lie.
Exactly.
The cake is a lie.
It is.
Indeed. Yeah, so we watched that. That was a good time. My wife loves horror and violence, so she was like, that movie was awesome. I was a little less warm on it just because the movie does have a very brevity or brief pace to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like incongruent, but it's definitely quick. And then there's some things in it, particularly in the multiverse side, because they talk about the Multiverse of Madness is the title of the film, and it's like they do show a lot, but you don't stay really in too many of the places, like primarily like two multiverses. They show like a ton, but we're kind of in two multiverses, and like I can kind of understand that from like a pacing and a scripting perspective, and like not wanting to lose the audience and that sort of stuff. But the two that they stay in almost overstay their welcome for those portions of the film, and you're just kind of like, I saw some cooler shit like a little while ago. Can we look at one of those cooler ones that we saw, please?
Go back there, please.
Yeah,
right.
and they just don't do that, which is unfortunate. But overall, strong entry. It was awesome to have like a lot of Sam Raimi-ness in it, like everything from the like piano screeching cues to the twisted camera and the whip pan to the face, all the classic stuff that he built his career on, really. Except you know, instead of like how they were lightly done in the Spider-Man films, obviously, like they're just like, yeah, just do you, man. Like we got you, you know, and they just let him run with it. Um, so you know, it's something interesting. It's something different um, for Marvel movies as the mainstreams go. Um, and
I just
yeah,
looked up on my TV and saw the Small Fish Lady DVD cover.
the Small Fish Lady DVD cover.
Yes. I'm watching. I got Chip and Dale up.
Oh, okay.
The
I don't know if
bootleg, the
I don't know.
bootleg Little Mermaid
Oh,
cover.
the bootleg stuff. Yeah, the bootleg stuff is
Yeah.
hilarious. Like I think there's like a play on Winnie the Pooh, like a fat Pooh Bear at his dumb honey pot or something in the film.
Yeah. No, I looked
It's
up and
ridiculous.
Flounder was getting eye surgery.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah, eye
and
surgery.
then DVD cover. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's like that's it. Yeah. Anyway, we can talk probably. There's probably going to be like a rundown of like all the different things you missed because it was so fast in the film, and it's going to be longer than the fucking movie. I mean, like 2 hours for fucking Chip and Dale. All right, we should move off of this topic. I feel like we belabored it a little bit too much. Here we go. Spinning.
Us run on a topic for too long? No, never.
I know. That is air, and then I go to my cheat sheet because 130 plus episodes, and I still don't remember where the fuck we are on that.
Air would be video. No, not video games. Talkie Talk. No, not Talkie Talk.
We don't have a thing for that. It's got to be
what?
Tech.
No,
that's Earth.
Tech is maybe it is
video games.
It is video.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Nate, did you have time?
Yes.
Did you have time to play anything in the interim?
I played 1 day of Destiny in the last 2 weeks.
Was it a good
because
day?
Guardian Games is going on, and I went, to hell with this. I don't need this nonsense. I've been falling out of gaming a lot lately just because life has been getting in the way. As it goes when you have a 5 and an almost 4-year-old.
Yeah, it occurs to me that the pace in which I can consume video games is not going to last, and it has a life expectancy that's going to end soon.
Well, you've been fortunate enough to consume them like a madman and be able to stream them.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot.
Makes me very jealous, by the way. I'm very mad at you because you get to do something that I am more capable of doing with my setup, and I don't have the freaking time to do it. And you're over here with a horrible webcam.
Horrible, right?
We've got to we've got to work on that stuff. You're way far away. Your blue screen isn't chroma keyed properly.
I punched in the things like you told me to.
Yeah, and then you gave up on it.
Greg's got a forest in his background. It's not even a green screen.
It's a shower curtain, man.
Yeah, I can tell. That's straight out of an Irish Spring commercial. But yeah, no, like I've been watching you stream. I'm like, son of a biscuit. I wish I could get on and actually do this more often. But alas, every time I walk into my office, especially now with my video card being stupid, and every time up here, I didn't even slam my own desk. I closed the drawer on my wife's desk, and it dislodged my video card.
Can you like use a bungee cord or like a rubber band or something?
I'm gonna put this thing up on like foam blocks or something to kind of buffer some of that shock. Because yeah, I'm frustrated as F with this. But yeah, so now every time I walk in here, I just go, I don't want to sit down and deal with this crap.
Like yeah, I don't want to sit down and deal with it. Work.
Yeah, to game, to stream, to even consume media in here. It's like I've got TVs in my other rooms. If I want to watch something, I can lay in bed and watch something. So yeah, kind of a bummer. What was me, right?
I mean,
I'm sad.
I'd offer to help, but I don't know how to help you. I don't know how to help you with your GPU falling out of your fucking motherboard. Like, is it the pins just fucking suck? Or like, what's the
No,
deal? Like, did it vibrate too much? Is it just a bad?
you have what? You have a 3090 in yours
No,
or
I have
3080?
a no. It's not an Nvidia. I have a I think it's a 6800
Oh, okay. Yeah, but still, have you
XTR.
seen the size of these things?
Yeah, it's fucking huge.
Right.
I know it's
My
like the entire
my
size of the
case
fucking
does not have
desktop.
a brace for it. So for whatever reason, where it's sitting,
Get a
the
new
weight of that
case.
card, hmm,
Get a new case, man.
well, that might be the solution. Or I think there actually is
Because it's been
an
falling out
aftermarket
for like
brace.
3 months, man.
Well aware. Thank you.
Sorry.
God.
Greg, have you been
Oh look!
playing
Oh
anything?
look! Nate's vulnerable. Kick him while he's down.
I feel
Hey,
bad for you, dude.
you threw me under the bus with
I did
my
not throw
tweet
you under the
earlier
bus.
this week. So
I said I'm jealous.
no, I
What?
mean the
What?
tweet
How?
earlier this week.
Which one?
The one where I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry my website was down for 2 months."
Oh, you mean the one that you replied to with all of your other
Yeah, that's the
Twitter
one.
accounts?
Yeah,
That you had a full conversation with yourself,
yeah.
and I'm the one that you threw yourself under the bus, dude. At
I
that
just
point, I just
I just
chimed
thought
in.
the gift choice that you had was appropriately savage. Made me feel bad.
My gift game is strong. I'm sorry.
It's true. That's good. That's good. Might give Greg a run for his money. Yeah.
Probably. I mean, my my gift game is it's sometimes it's good, sometimes it's just recycled the same one that's in my phone. But
Mhm.
the
No,
last
I
one.
actively go out and seek appropriate gifts for things. I do my homework and make sure that when I strike hard.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the inside baseball story on that. So I was streaming that stupid island game with our moderator and my friend Daniel. Um and we had like a fuck ton of viewers. And I was like, "Oh shit, I guess we're going to dance because we are monkeys now." And there was one dude who
Mhm.
was like really active and like was really cool and chill and stuff. And he was like, "Oh my god, you guys do a podcast? Oh, I want to check it out and I want to follow and I want to do these things." I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Just go to this website." And he's like, "There's nothing
www
there."
dot.
And I was like, "What do you mean there's nothing there?" And so
Did he put in the right amount of W's?
I swear to God. Do you know this
Wait,
joke?
you had a
Do you know this joke,
wait.
Greg?
Tim, you had a link that was bad? I am floored right now. Wait a minute. You had a bad link for a website? This is a horrible atrocity because I thought that only happened with people on my team. Yeah. How's that medicine taste?
Strong.
Oh.
This
So,
might not
Greg,
have been the guest to have for you to pick on me like that, huh?
that's okay. That's okay. Um,
Yeah.
whatever's entertaining to our audience, like that's that's what I say. But yeah, no. So, number one, earlier in the year, found out my website was down because uh the card that I had the website on under or whatever was like a card that didn't get renewed or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it elapsed, so I had to pay the recovery fee, of course, because that's where they get you. So did that. I was like, yeah, website's back up. Worked for me because I see it from the website portal end, right? It's like, looks like everything's working. Cool. Like 2 months later,
Oh no.
I find out if you actually go to a normal browser and type it in, it just goes, "This website's on hold, parked courtesy of Squarespace." And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I looked at it, and I actually boggled my mind because I was like trying to look through the settings, and there wasn't anything like popping up like, "Oh, this isn't checked," or "This thing isn't done," or whatever. I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with my goddamn website?" And then finally, I dug through enough settings, and then it was like, "We have yet to receive your confirmation email." And I was like,
Oh.
"Oh." Search email. Unread. 2 months ago.
Click link.
Fuck.
Man, that's I feel bad for you.
Cool.
Not as bad as I feel for Nate, but I feel bad for you.
Okay. Yeah,
Why do you feel bad for me?
Oh, because
graphics card is falling out.
your sound card shit out on you. So
Oh, it's not. I mean, it's. I'll fix it. I just gotta unwire everything, drag it out of because I've got the little cubby hole type desk.
yeah. But see, I mean, that's a situation that I mean you have some control over, but it's really not a lot of control. It just happens. I mean, Tim's situation, that was totally like he boned himself.
So while I don't run 8 Kickstarters, my wife's Twitter page, help her out with her Retro Emporium, write for major publishers, and also have a day job and a grandmother. I do have a job that takes a lot of time and is physically demanding, that sometimes allows me to come home early after already being at work at 4 to stream for hours on end until the wife gets home. This is true. So, which is why I constantly ask you, how the fuck do you juggle all this stuff? Because I'm not that great at time management. Like, if there was a time management merit badge, I would probably not have gotten it because they're like, well, he didn't show. I guess he's not getting the merit badge.
Do the thing.
So somewhere in there, I think I had originally asked a question. Greg, have you been playing any video games lately?
Oh, video games. Have I played any? I wouldn't say I played anything for fun. Tested a lot of stuff for the shop, of course. Like, I mean,
oh yeah,
I didn't even
what do you test?
Like, tested a lot of like a scat of like PS2 stuff and
so you
a
make
lot of
sure the stuff
Nintendo
that comes
stuff.
in isn't completely shit, or like
Yeah,
doesn't work.
Clean it, test it. If we do a buy or something like that, or something comes in, then make sure that it's good to go. So I was testing some Dr. Mario's for the NES system. I didn't even know there was like this GI Joe. Like I knew there was GI Joe games, right, on other systems. I did not know there was a GI Joe game for the Nintendo. Apparently, there's one. So and it's cool.
Nice.
There's I picked up a Britney Spears game. I know, laugh, right? Laugh. It's a rhythm based game, and
I'm not laughing because I know exactly the fucking game you're talking
like,
about.
If it was a Britney Spears RPG adventure, I'd be chuckling right now.
It'd be super. Well, it is kind of RPG.
You
adventure.
even chuckled.
It is kind of like an RPG adventure, but it's rhythm based. So you gotta do all the moves, with your controller to get the dancer to do the dancing, to go on tour with Britney. And the more dances you complete, the further you can go on tour with her and be her backup dancer. And it's for the Grammy. So I was having fun with it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it or if I wanted to put it in the shop and sell it, because I was like, actually, I really wanted to, like, complete the game, but at the same point, I was like, I don't have time to do this. so
So you're only competing to be her backup dancer?
Yeah, you're only competing to be her backup dancer against other backup dancers.
So you're
There's another
not
rhythm
even a
game I see a lot of
main
streamers.
stage
I see a lot of streamers play, and it's a heartbeat thing, and you gotta just, it's literally tap on the beat, and it's got a similar storyline to that.
Interesting.
So
there was another game like we'd gotten. It was another rhythm based game, and it was one that like I wish I could remember the name of the game itself right now, but it was one that I had been. It was like I was looking for it, and I couldn't find it for the longest time, and then it came in a stack, and I was like, I'm gonna trade 6 of these games out of my own collection to keep this one game because I've only seen it like twice, like
Sure.
in my So my wife was like, "Where did that one game go?" And I was like, you got these 6 games that are
So you're
someone's gonna
doing
buy.
insider trading? Am I hearing that right, Greg?
No. I mean, just like I swap things for things that I want.
Okay.
It's different, Tim. You make it sound bad.
I didn't say the word bad.
You made me feel bad. Oh, you're trying to make me feel bad now because I made you feel bad.
Nah.
Anyways, so
I
I
don't care.
there was that, and then I played a little bit of Tetris the other day.
Tetris is good. I find it weird. So my best friend, Brock, hates Tetris. He thinks it is the dumbest fucking game on the planet, and I'm like,
It's because he's bad at it.
bitch, I remember.
No, it's because he's bad at it.
The original Game Boy game. Like, and we were playing it all the time. Don't fucking lie to me. We played it. He's like, yeah, but I didn't like it.
Yeah. You know what game I absolutely hate? Super Smash Brothers. And you know why I hate it?
See that?
Because I'm bad at it.
That saddens my soul. Okay.
No. I know it's a great game. The sales numbers back that up. I will never play that freaking game because I'm horrible at it.
Does it matter what system you play it on, or
doesn't matter I'm just bad.
Just bad at it.
Super Smash Brothers and those style of games.
Okay.
And you got to button mash to get anywhere sometimes. Just like
yeah, I tried that, and I got beat by a 5-year-old.
Okay, you're bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I hate those games, and so yeah, Brock he doesn't like Tetris because he's horrible at it.
Or Nate, you're really good because you didn't want to like make the 5-year-old feel bad, and that's nice.
No, you got to learn sometime. No participation trophies. You got to learn to lose young.
I think that's true.
It's true.
I think that's a fair life lesson that still needs to be passed on.
We don't get into those topics here.
So beating children in video games?
It's probably no surprise what I've been
playing. What's that?
Because I've been streaming it for the last 128 hours.
Right. Elden Ring.
Says, yeah. So when we last
saw tweets.
When we you liked some of them. What are you talking about?
I know.
I was like, what? They were always like random ones.
See the game.
I was like, oh, interesting. When we last podcasted, Nate, was I playing Elden Ring at that time?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So then probably what I said was I was in a love-hate relationship. I believe that's what I said, and I was like, oh yeah. One day it was like, oh, it's awesome. Then the next day, oh my god, I fucking hate this game. The next day I was like, oh, it's awesome. And then the next day I was like, oh, I fucking hate this game. So after that period, it became, oh, I think I fucking love this game.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just that.
And the only reason you hated it was you were doing it wrong. You were bad at the game.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. I don't think so. Like,
you were a 16-year-old trying to get into the strip club and you got bounced.
Boom.
Well, you would know about bouncing.
I would.
He's had some jobs.
I used to be a bouncer. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's had some jobs. Yeah, man, like I don't know. Like it sounds so trite and caved in or bandwagony to be like, everybody in the fucking world is playing this goddamn game right now. It is the best-selling fucking game in the world right now. They've sold 13.4 million copies.
Hold on, Tim. Hold up. Is there a Coca-Cola polar bear in this goddamn movie?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
So, funny story. Me and my wife were arguing. I was like, oh, that's the Coca-Cola polar bear. And she was like, no, it's not. It's the polar bear from the fucking Golden Compass. I was like, no. well, it could be the one from Polar Express. She's like, I don't know. There's a polar bear. I think it's the Coca-Cola one, but
Is it the icy polar bear from the old ices?
I
It
don't.
very well could be, but the animation style would say to me Coca-Cola polar bear.
Okay.
But okay, back to Elden Ring.
So I feel like a shill and not a. Usually, I'm pretty opinionated when it comes to gaming. You know, like I know what I like, I know what I don't like. I've been around the block so much. I know so many things. And I feel weird to agree with the mass majority of people that are like, this game is a once in a fucking generation game. Like it is a Skyrim level event in
Sure.
games. Having seen almost everything that the game has to offer with its version 1, essentially, with no DLC and stuff, which is an insane amount of content. Like, it's interesting because the only analogs that I can compare it to is things that are not video games. Like, it
Yeah.
reminds me of, like a good fucking D&D session or a Pathfinder session. Like, when you open the stats screen, it's like there's more fucking stats in this game than any fucking video game I could fucking think of. Like, what fucking video game has fire, black fire, and like rot fire? There's like 6 different fucking fires, like alone, like subsets of fucking stats and whatnot. And and like that can definitely be a turnoff to like some people. Like there's no two bones about it that there you go. There's like a lot to learn about this game. And when I started my journey, yes, I caved because my father-in-law, of all people, was like, "Yo, you gotta play Elden Ring." I was like, "Really? Fucking father-in-law's telling me I gotta play Elden Ring now? Like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, is this a special game? Like, I'm not sure, you know." And as I said previously on many other shows, I'm very familiar with FromSoft, the developers' back catalog. I was a fan of a lot of their older games. I liked Demon Souls. I did not like the Dark Soul games. They were not my cup of tea. And it just feels like the only way this game exists is they have been essentially, this developer has been trying to make this specific game for so long, and only in each of their prior series have they been like trying to nail what one specific aspect of it. And this like
Right.
nails a lot of aspects, which is why it's so water coolery, because like I actually have also been helping out my sister-in-law in the game with it, you know, and she'll talk about like how she tackled something, and I'm like, huh, that's not what I did at all. I did this, this, and this
Right.
worked. And then somebody else
Well,
will be
and
like,
that's
oh,
something
I did this,
that's
this, and
something
this.
I was gonna say, like from
know?
all of the reviews that
Oh,
here goes my hold on.
Did you disconnect it? You gotta stop having stuff
Just
falling apart, man. Like things are falling out, popping off.
bump my mic out of the stand. Everyone that I've seen that have played it, you started going into these complexities and everything on the game, and like that, when I start hearing that, it just make my brain just shuts off because I just don't need that kind of complexity, because most of the time when a game gets that granular, you have to do that. You have to have mastery in the most minutia to beat the game, and that's not the case with Elden Ring. Like, you can get through the game without mastering everything.
Yeah.
But it's easier if you do.
Well, and it's easier if you master certain things. Like,
Right.
so something. So it's so funny because like
you can have that conversation where someone goes, "Oh, I beat this person this way," and you go, like you said, I didn't do that at all. I did this."
Well, and it's not even like there is that, but then there's also like it seems like every fucking week, like people are like, "Oh, did you know you can get to this area before you fight this dude, and there's like a secret way to go here?" And people are like,
Sure.
"What?" and then you go check it out, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And it's just like it's like a Nick Fury situation. Like this game's secrets has secrets whose secrets have secrets. And
Right.
it's not in sometimes it's in a bullshitty way. Like I'll admit, like there's like a dungeon where you're like, oh, it's a plain ass dungeon. Well, that's weird. There's nothing really in here. And you hit a wall and it's invisible. And you're like, oh my god, and there's a chest. And then you like leave.
Whoa.
And then you find out later, oh dude, there's another invisible wall behind that chest. You're like, what the fuck?
Right.
And it
But
leads to
none of
another
this
dungeon
but
or
none
some
of this
shit.
prevents you from progressing or beating the game,
Well, yeah. Yeah. It's
right?
very and it's stupid to say this because everybody fucking says this, but it's true. It's very Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in that sense
Mhm.
where it's so open and it's like we don't really care how you get there.
Well,
So long as you
even the
get there,
original Legend of Zelda was like that.
Yeah.
So
And it's
I can respect that
like
because a lot of the times when I hear people start digging into I got this and this and this and this, like it turns me off when you start getting into deep crafting levels and skill trees.
well, there's not skill trees. The game doesn't have that. There are no skill trees in the game. There are
Okay.
like a bazillion stats,
Okay.
and there are a bazillion ways to affect those stats. The only air quotes skill trees are what special moves you put on your weapons, or if you
hmm
decide to use magic, what spells or incantations, because they're different in this game. They're like different forms of magic that you choose to do. Like, which is why I go back to it's like it's more like a D&D experience in video game form than I've experienced, where it's so like, oh, I wonder if I can do blah and can I put this on this?
Mm.
And instead of the
Right.
game going, we didn't design that, you can't do that. It's like, yeah, okay, sure, have your sword be on fire. We don't fucking care. Go for it,
Right.
And it's like, there's just not
And that's kind of nice. Yeah.
there's just not a lot of games that do that. Like there's just not a lot of games that and maybe from I don't know, I'm not a game developer, maybe from like a design standpoint it's like no, they literally have fucking like thought of so many fucking like tiny things to add to everything
Right.
that you know I don't know it's
But
I do
again, if you want to set your sword on fire, go ahead, do it. Set your sword on fire. We'll give you a stat bonus on it. My problem with a lot of games now is when they require you to be able to set your sword on fire to get through a game.
yeah
And you
there's
can't.
And it doesn't right, and it doesn't feel that way with Elden Ring. And like when I first started watching stuff and hearing stuff, it was just like, God, I just don't want to. Again, I'm lazy. I'm a casual gamer. I'm a dad. I'm a dad gamer of
sure.
two daughters. I don't have the time to sink into it that you have lately. But even when that goes
I'll be
away,
honest.
when your time goes,
I've gone a little insane about it. Like I have
yeah,
burned
but
the
when
candle
that time goes away,
until
you're
2
still
a.m.
going to be able to advance on the game, right?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I think I'm getting close to quote unquote having wrapped up everything the game has to offer. I've been attempting to fight the hardest boss in the game, which a lot of people are saying is like the hardest fucking boss in all of video gaming, which I don't think is true, having been around for a long time. I do think the boss is a fucking bitch. And like she's not so hard that it's insane. She just has one move that she does sometimes that's like 1,000 slashes. And you have a block mechanic in the game and you have a stamina bar, and blocking burns your stamina, and if your stamina goes out you flinch and your shield goes back and then you're vulnerable, and there's just no fucking way in hell you can block for that long, so your only choice is to watch her very carefully and run the fuck away and hope that she doesn't
Mhm.
she doesn't get you like the fucking boogeyman. like
Mhm.
but she doesn't do it all the time, which makes it like you're like, oh yes, I'm finally fucking getting her, and then like you run out of stamina, you run out of magic, you're healing, you're like, oh shit, she's doing the move, and you're in a bad position.
I remember the last time I felt like that. The game was called Final Fantasy VII.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember this. The last time I felt like this, it was Luigi's Mansion.
Luigi's Mansion, really? Oh man, so Luigi's Mansion.
You could see our levels of gaming here.
Right.
I love Luigi's Mansion. I think
we're giving away our ages here.
I mean, it's true.
I'm talking the newest Luigi's Mansion.
It's great. I love the new Luigi's Mansion. Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, Elden Ring. Elden Ring is your bae recently.
Well, and it's weird because prior to playing Elden Ring, I played Tunic, which myself and one of the co-founders of the show, Dame, agreed that it's a perfect video game. Like it is as close to a perfect video game as any video game I've ever fucking played. And is made by one fucking dude over 7 years. Like it's some insane like I can't even believe that is made by one person, but it is. And it's so interesting.
We just met C. Ray Gun.
Right. And okay. Hang on.
It's midnight.
Hang on.
Did everything just shut down over there?
No, I'm still here. Hang on.
Still here. Whoa, spooky! Oh my god, it is Luigi's Mansion.
For the people listening, yes. Tim's midnight timer is kicked off again and shut down all the lights.
It's because we're doing it on Friday. I don't have it set up for when we do it on Saturdays.
Oh man, that was funny.
Yeah, you're probably just like, what?
What's going?
I remember the first time it happened. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm recording this podcast by myself because his power just went out.
Tim is gone. Tim is.
Yep.
You said you met C. Ray Gunn, and then all of a sudden he pulled a C.
It was good. It was good timing. Yeah, it's true.
He just disappeared. See you guys later. I'll be right back.
The only other thing I can say is, I've literally put in the time. I can honestly say it's just a fucking really well made piece of entertainment. Like there's very few things in it that literally rub me the wrong way, or it's like, oh, I wish they did blah or something like that. But it's also a little weird because, like I said previously, there's a little bit of a Stockholm syndrome thing. Because, like I said in the beginning, I was like, oh, I love this. Oh, I fucking hate this. Oh, I love this. Oh, I fucking hate this. So either I've lost or it's won. I'm not sure which it is. So, there we go. Those
will there be a sequel to this game? Is that on the? Because I don't know anything really about it.
Oh, please say
so
they better not sequel it.
It's the best
living game.
It's the best selling game. Like it's outselling like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, which generally chart every month, even though they're the same game. And it's only been available for like 45 days. Mm-hmm. So it hasn't been available for a very long time, and it's outselling them. Mm-hmm. And it's not slowing down. And literally everyone's talking about it, and very few people are like, oh, this game sucks and I hate it and it's dumb. I think, given the fact that it is a ludicrous financial and commercial success, there is no way that there is not a sequel.
Will it be Elder Rings?
I don't know. You'd have to ask George R. R. Martin on that one. Well,
right.
And I don't say that facetiously because you may or may not know, but he wrote the story for this game.
I've never heard of him.
Oh, okay. Well, he's just some guy who, doesn't finish things.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I hate you guys.
That's what I hear.
You're both authors. This is just no. You hurt me.
You feel gunged up on?
Gunged up on? No.
It's a new form of ganged up on. It's a little less
I
aggressive.
know.
Yeah, we just
I just feel like I'm missing an inside industry joke at this point.
No,
no.
I don't think you're missing any jokes. I mean, you
The
watched
joke.
Game of Thrones, didn't you?
Yes.
What's that?
Cool. And you know that it's based on some books. See, I love this, Greg, because he throws dad jokes at me all the time, and it drives. Well, there he goes to the soundboard. This is what happens when we've suitably beat down Dane. He just starts throwing soundboard stuff at us. The last stuff to talk about on games was a big thing. So Take-Two and Zynga are apparently merging Monday.
That's a weird.
It is a weird combo.
Set of bedfellows. Yeah.
$12.5 billion.
Wowzers.
So Grand Theft Auto and Farmville together at last, I guess. Very weird.
If they marry up a game where you're like it's on your phone and you're farming stolen car parts.
Like maybe that's a correlation. One wanted to get into mobile and the other wanted to make money.
Yeah.
Well, Zynga makes money. I mean, they make.
Well, yes.
What does it say here on the article?
I can't think of any reason that Zynga would want to get into the console PC market.
It is Farmville and Words with Friends is what Zynga's known for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's funny you mentioned that, Greg, because I too also thought that, because this news was like super recent. It was today. And so I was like, maybe there'll be like making a weed farm and selling it for car parts things, kind of like what you were mentioning. Could be.
You could see something like that. It'd be real popular on the Facebooks on your phones there.
Didn't I have that game back on my Nokia?
Maybe. Did it come with your Snake game?
Yeah.
You dialed in, you punched in the special code, and then things showed up at your door.
No, you would go town to town, and you'd buy one product, go to the other town, sell it, and it was a money management.
No, that's called
game.
Craigslist, dude.
Yeah. Fair.
That's another website.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's another game.
Yes, that was a thing. There was also one other thing that I didn't post in our Discord. Apparently, EA is looking to be purchased. And the last thing I heard on it before I got on the show was there was something flying around about NBC wanting to buy EA, and I was like, what the fuck?
That's interesting.
I don't know anything more than that. But it's really weird. Like all these huge video game companies are getting like bought up, merged, sold. Like the whole landscape is changing before our eyes. It's crazy.
Especially EA, because they're already kind of in bed with Game Pass.
Right.
You would think that suitor would be definitely Microsoft at that point.
Well, especially them being both American companies too.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. Who's to say what's happening on that front? All right, shall we spin this again? Start getting towards the end here.
Yep.
Cool. It's air again. Didn't we just do that? Pretty sure we did.
Mm-hmm.
Bogus spinning again.
Yes. Spin.
Fire. Life stories. That is something I know Greg has probably a bazillion of.
Oh.
Gosh. So life stories or anything happening with your life, feel free to talk about it. Whoever wants to go first, not it.
Mine are all rehashes from previous weeks. It's same old nonsense, same old story, same old song and dance. So
babies, poop, shafted at work.
Did
you find out if you're keeping your job?
I am keeping my job for now.
Okay.
So yay.
Still high stress?
Always.
I'm sorry.
So, Greg,
Yeah.
you have the floor.
Um.
Tell us your life.
Gee,
It's got
I
so
mean,
much of it.
do you want to ask a general question? I can tie a story to it.
Yeah, just give us a life story.
The life story. I don't know, Tim. You want to
A life story.
a life
yeah.
story, not the life story. Dang. Okay. What's one that I haven't told? Let's see. That's why I'm like.
So I know. So previously
Yes,
on Fork
previously.
with Greg Smith,
We know why you're shorter.
clowns,
Okay.
Hollywood script writing gone amok, comic
Mhm.
book life,
Okay.
cons,
Okay.
your wife's shop and moving shop.
Mhm.
And I think we talked off air about the roof that caved in
Oh yeah,
at
yeah,
your
yeah,
wife's shop, which
yeah.
sucked tremendously,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I think I missed that.
We've talked off air about Boy Scout stuff, but
Mhm.
I don't know if you necessarily said so much stuff necessarily. All right, you can do something about that, or whatever. Dealer's choice.
Sure, sure.
Whatever,
Let's see.
whatever you want.
Whatever I want. Whatever I want. Okay. So let's talk. Let's talk Scout stuff. So fun life story, Scout related. When I was, I don't want to say like I think I was like 14. I went on a canoeing trip. We went on a canoeing 50-mile canoeing hiking like mix. So it was 50 miles. There's 25 of backpacking, 25 of canoeing around a lake in the Canadian Rockies. And
interesting.
yeah, so it was a pretty extensive week of doing a bunch of this high mountain activity where you're taking your canoe, taking it out, carrying it around with your canoe partner and everything like that. The first day we were there, I totally got mangled. We were playing football on like a gravel road, and I don't know. I totally ate shit on the gravel road. I
People don't
had
care.
Oh no, it does not, man. I had on my forearms and my shins, I just tore them all up because I fell straight down, and it was like a matter of like, okay, we're like way out in the middle of the Canadian outback, and we're nowhere near any place to go get fixed up and stuff. And the guy, one of the assistant scoutmasters, he was a medic during Vietnam, and he was like, "All right, so here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna take the scrub brush for the pots and pans, and you're gonna go out in the lake, and you're just gonna scrub it until it bleeds, and you're gonna do that every day that we're out here." And I was like, "Oh man, this is gonna suck." So I was doing that every day to just like, because he's like, if you scrub it till it bleeds, you know that you're not infected, and you're continually cleaning, you're cleaning it out. So I do this like every day until we get back to a town, like, so it like get back to a town and get checked up and stuff like that. It was a pretty like for a 14-year-old kid, it was a pretty rough time, and having to be out there on the water and getting sunbaked, and then having to scrape off all the healing process every day, every like 2 times a day, in the morning and at night. It's pretty gnarly. My canoeing partner, we were in the middle of the lake, and he had to go to the bathroom, so he was standing in the canoe, and he was hanging it over the edge, and the canoe flipped over and threw us and all our gear out, and he got stuck in like with his leg under the canoe, and he broke his leg, and he had to get actually airlifted out of the Canadian outback because it was so messed up. And I was like, he gets to go home, but I have to stay here. So
Holy
You've
crap.
never wanted to break your leg more in your life, huh?
I know, right? But it was a good character builder, if you will. That's what the assistant scoutmaster told me. It was a good character builder because I got to canoe the rest of the time by myself. Because this is like the second day we were out there. He the dude I was in the canoe with rolled the canoe, broke his leg, got airlifted out.
Yeah.
So the rest of the week I was canoeing by myself. And because I didn't have another person in there, they just threw more gear in mine because they needed to weigh it down more. So I got an extra workout, apparently, because canoeing by yourself. But they figured, I could handle it. It was a fun, good experience. It was also the same week that the same assistant scoutmaster was like, "All right, we're gonna go through and do a purifier check, and the best way to do that is to run it through, purify the water, but also if you ever need to drink something, you're gonna drink your own urine because you can." And he had us all purify our urine.
No.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Keep your badge.
I mean, we never drank.
It was gross.
We knew about it.
Oh yeah, no.
But we never drank our urine. Holy shit, dude.
Oh, I've pranked people.
So-
I've pranked people with pea popsicles and shit like that, but
Pea popsicles?
never on purpose.
Hey, no.
What?
Well, I know how I'm introducing you next episode. Now with Nate Pea Popsicle.
Don't ever take it. So you can't eat it at some people's houses, and Nate's apparently one of them. But
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
if it's been run through a purifier, I'll try it. No, I won't try it. That's disgusting. But so that was that a fun character building life experience that I'll never forget. And sadly, I survived.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
You
not
can
sadly,
survive
I guess.
You can survive a lot, man. You can survive a lot. Never know until you're in the Canadian Rockies or you're stuck on a blizzard.
Well, and the crazy thing too is like when we were coming back, we're like we got to the border, and one of the kids was like, just I don't know, he's being just a total shithead, and they ended up tossing the whole entire car, like one of the vans, and it held up the whole trip for like an hour because like they're like, oh, we gotta do a whole entire search on the vehicle. We don't know what you guys need, so like they searched everything, like going through all our stuff, and all I'm like, I just want to go home at this point because I want to go see like a real doctor, like my doctor, not
Right.
like wherever. Like I don't even think like when we got back, like it was like we went to somebody that they knew up there, and they just like back teamed me up and sent me on my way.
Right. They gave you whatever spray they use on soccer players that makes them feel 100% better after a flop.
Yeah.
So what were you doing on this trip in the Canadian Rockies? Like that seems so far outside of your troops like jurisdiction.
So one of our troop members had family up in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So they turned it into like a family vacation and a scouting trip. So their family was going up there already, and they invited us all to go with them. But in order to make it a full scouting trip, the assistant scoutmaster was like, oh, we're going to do this, this, and this. And it turned into a 50-mile hike and canoe trip and all that other stuff. Building up to it, it sounded awesome. I was super jacked and excited for it. I was like the other assistant scoutmaster that didn't go with us. He was like, "Oh, it's gonna be the best time of your life. You're gonna have a great time." And I was like,
That's what
"Yeah,
they all
this is
said.
great."
That's what they all said.
Yeah. And
all
and
the
I was
mine
like,
said
I
that. Like fucking.
I was super excited, man. I was like, this is gonna be so much fun. And that first day, it's just like it felt like it set my expectation level went boom, 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 boom.
It's so funny you say that story because, like I said, I have been rereading Junior Braves Volume One
Uh-huh.
after a podcast with Michael, and you like being like away in the mountains and coming back to civilization. I was like, oh my god, that's like the fucking start of the book.
Yeah.
Like right there. It's like, oh,
I
okay.
it was it like I've said before, I a lot of what we write into that book series is derivative of kind of those experiences and stuff like that. So having that really rough scoutmaster that's like, just get in the van, we'll go, we'll just do this thing, that's like, okay, you're gonna have a great time, it's gonna be fun. That's, yeah,
It's gonna
like
be
you said, they
fun,
all
damn
say
it.
that. Fun, damn it, yeah, go learn some stuff out here with me. And
You talked out of turn.
I think every
you have
good
to carry
story
your
is
backpack with
derivative at some
props.
point.
yeah, definitely, like the character building and stuff like that a lot of times too is like of kids that we definitely like, between myself, Mike, and Zach, because we all had our own scout troops and stuff. We threw peppered in our own friends and stuff like that. So when you get to book 2, you might see some kids that might seem familiar because they're probably from your own troop, Tim.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about that before.
Yeah. So
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't have any not depressing life stories to share.
Right.
So last Friday, I lost my grandmother. She'd been ill for a while. Actually, I think I said it on the show that I think right after Christmas they were like, "Oh, she's not gonna make it to New Year's," and then of course it's now May. So that's a thing. So family's mostly doing okay. She's on the Canadian side, so we can't like go do anything right now because of the border situation. Apparently, she didn't want like any kind of like funeral or wake, or she didn't want nothing because she didn't want to be a burden because that was the type of person she was. And it's like, okay, that sounds like grandma. But I think at some point later in the summer we're supposed to be doing something, assuming the border situation gets less complicated or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so like I just wanted to like say it's an interesting thing because my understanding from the stories is she was a first generation Canadian. Her mother came over on a boat allegedly from Ukraine, actually. And she was a tough old bird and had fuck, I don't know, 10 kids in my dad's family or something.
Oh.
And like raised crops, and she like was doing bake sales right up until she wasn't walking there in the last couple of months. And like was like old school, cooked with lard, and like
Nice.
The only way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Makes the food taste better.
sometimes. Sometimes. Like it's just one of those things. We'd known that she was going for a while, and I'd previously said on the podcast, last summer I was able to attend my grandma on this side of the world at her 90th birthday, and she's still alive and kicking and doing well. It just sucks that we weren't able to do anything or get anywhere and stuff up to see her and whatnot before she bounced, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. So I actually almost like called or texted you last night, by the way, Nate. switching flip, switching flip, switching script,
Flipping switches?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something.
There you go.
So me and the wife had a huge fight last night, but
Oh.
it was over. So it was a dumb thing, actually. Like we were actually talking about the end of the fucking the Halo season finale, and we
Okay.
were like, she had said something, and then I had said something, and then she said, "That's not what you said. You said this." To which my response was, "Why the fuck would I say that? I have never said something like that." And it spiraled out
Okay.
into a huge thing. And so, I guess everybody's married here. Like,
Mhm.
has that like ever happened with your spouse where you're just like, you are positive you have said like a specific thing, and
Uh-huh.
then your spouse is like, "No, you said this," and you're like, "That's fucking bullshit," and like slander. Like, what the fuck are you
Mhm.
talking about?
No, never happens.
Happens all the time.
Okay,
Never happens.
okay, cool.
It happens with my 5-year-old.
Cool.
My 5-year-old was like, "Why are you yelling at me?" As she's yelling at me, I'm like, "What do you want me to do? I told you not to do the thing, and you started
Right.
yelling at me. But you didn't have to yell at me. I'm not going to do anything if you're going to yell at me about it." I'm like, "You didn't do the thing when I wasn't yelling at you about it. What do you want me to do, honey?" "I just want to be left alone." Okay.
Dude.
Peace out.
Yeah.
Gonna go record a podcast. That's my 5-year-old.
I mean,
Your 5-year-old
My
sounds super
36-year-old.
sassy.
Yeah, my 36-year-old is much more aware.
Did you just refer to your wife as your 36-year-old?
I did, didn't I?
That's really fucking weird, dude. That's weird.
I didn't say that. I didn't mean that, Tim.
Oh, okay. Is that is that a lot of this? Is that what that is?
It was.
Do I need to cut that, Nate?
What's that?
Do I need to cut that?
What? No, I was proving the point. You say something and they hear it one way, you hear it another. Obviously, I didn't mean my 36-year-old. What did you hear? Right?
I mean, I
And that's
heard
how it
my
happens.
36-year-old, so I don't know.
That's
Right.
what I heard too.
Yeah.
Right. You heard the possessive.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how they start, and it's always dumb.
Well, but like, so like, your child, your actual child, notwithstanding,
Mhm.
like, what do you do in that scenario?
You reroute, reset, and reconvene. Like, I let her spiral out. I walked away. I came back in and said, "Okay, we're going to start over. What is it you need? What is it you want?" "I need the." "Okay, calm your tone. You told me not to yell. Don't yell."
Okay.
Had a conversation about it. We figured out it was a toy that apparently my wife, who's not home tonight, promised her she was going to put batteries in,
Mhm.
and that toy is now missing.
Okay.
Now
So,
it's Dad's fault.
it's my fault because mommy said she was going to fix the toy, and the toy's not in the office where she said it would be.
Mm.
So I had to find the toy, found the toy finally, didn't have batteries in it.
Okay.
I had to put battery, but in the process of getting to the point where to figure that out, there was a lot of yelling and screaming on both parts.
Okay. So, Greg, how would
Yeah.
how do you handle that situation with a wife?
So I was gonna say, like, you're talking about a disagreement on about what you said about a TV show. Now I don't know that's the context that I'm giving,
That's
and
correct.
I don't understand. I don't know the
You are
whole the
correct.
rest of the conversation. But
Well, we gotta know the words. The words that came out of your mouth were
I don't
He doesn't remember because he doesn't know.
We were
So
fighting. We were
therefore,
fighting about it for so
right
long,
now,
and I was
all we
so
know is your
tired.
wife was right because you don't know what you said,
Well, so here's what happened.
unless it was in tone.
So here's what happened.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Halo finale, and then somehow the subject skipped to the finale of the Wheel of Time TV series, of which there is a topic within that book and that TV show of who is the dragon, so to speak, the chosen one or whatever within that series.
Mm-hmm.
I have read the first 5 books.
I can see where that fits in.
I have read the first 5 books of this series. Jessica has only watched the TV show. And before we reached the end of that TV show, she was asking me, do you know who the dragon is? And I recall that my response was, no, I don't, but it's also complicated. To which, for whatever reason, last night, the Halo thing, she brought up this exact interchange, which was like last September. And she was like, you told me you didn't know who the dragon was. And when we finished the first season, you were like, yep, it's this person. And she was like, and then I got mad at you because I'm like, you've read fucking 5 books. Like, which fucking is it? You know? And then I was like, well, but I also told you that it was complicated, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
And we got over this. And then she's like, well, I feel like you say like things all the time. And then I will tell you what
Did
you
she feel like
said.
you were holding out with your Halo knowledge?
No.
Like you knew something about the final episode that your Halo knowledge gave you foresight on?
No, I don't remember the specific exact like pinpoint of the Halo thing where we somehow diverged into this. I say things one way and then she duplicates that statement, but it's different. And then when it comes up in conversation and we're talking about something and she's like, well, you told me something different. And then I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I told you this thing, you know? And then that spirals out to, well, am I fucking mishearing you? Like, am I fucking going crazy? Am I making up fucking conversations? And I'm just like,
was she talking to you or one of your other personalities? Were you tweeting her from another account? Because I mean, it's possible.
Wow. So at home,
she only knows 10.
I only have one persona.
Okay.
And that is specifically home in every area with the exception of like when it gets to foreplay, and then there's a different persona.
Tale of Two Tims.
Oh my god.
I think there's more than 2, but
wow. Okay. So I don't know.
Somehow I think there's a cosplay closet in their house.
A cosplay closet? Actually, no.
Yeah.
We have very little cosplay
okay.
here, actually.
Okay.
I know many cosplayers.
So do I.
Samesies.
True, they're everywhere. Grows on trees, practically.
They just like walk down the street and there's like 10 of them.
So I don't know. I just wanted to throw out the scenario and see how other functioning married couples like deal with something like that, because it's like I caused her to question sanity, which in turn I'm like, well, I believe I'm right, but then also I'm like, well, what if I'm not? You know, what if I am just like Greg said, I'm being fucking like multiverse Twitter Tim here,
right?
Well, I
Like,
mean, if she has the belief that you have this knowledge of whatever the conversation is revolving around, and based on your response, and it's not in line with what she believes that your answer could or should be, then, I mean, that would allude to the possibility that she might feel like you're giving her false information
mhm,
and that you would have a different answer in a different conversation.
mm. Yeah, I can see that, you know.
And maybe she maybe she lost faith in your ability to answer questions. Just,
Okay.
no, I don't know. I mean, like I've had similar types of situations with my wife too, where she has a belief that I know this information based off of my like the knowledge of whatever the fandom
Mhm.
is or whatever, and it's like I don't know, your guess is as good as mine. I didn't write the script. Like it could go
Right.
any way,
Sure.
I guess we'll have to find out how it plays out, and that's not a suitable answer sometimes.
Sure.
My wife's the book nerd, so when I like a
So
movie
is
that's
mine.
when I think a movie is better than the book, it's a fight in our house.
Like a
You
literal
don't know
fight?
anything about this.
Yeah, it's
Oh, that's
yeah. You don't know
unfortunate.
anything about this. Do you know about this character? I'm like, I don't care. Like, Shawshank Redemption.
Ah,
I don't care that the warden was 7 different characters in the book. It was great in the movie.
uh-huh.
See,
Right.
it's funny because we had a reverse argument of that about the Dune movie because I'm familiar with
Hmm.
the books and the other media, and she's only
Mm-hmm.
seen the new Dune movie.
Hmm.
You know, and it's funny because she is a reader and she got the Dune book, but like, I don't know why she hasn't fucking read it. So it goes. Well, I guess we'll very briefly scoot through technology and then we'll wrap this up and go to fucking sleep.
Sleep?
Um,
What is that?
handful of
Technology.
handful of
Rip
technology.
the iPod
Oh yeah, the iPod got retired officially,
officially. Yes.
which is it's crazy to think about because
And as an Android fanboy and a former Zune owner, I'm still sad.
I mean I have a Zoom. As
I,
well.
Right?
I do too.
But
I have it in this
they
drawer.
don't call these Zunecasts, do they?
No, they don't. They
No,
call them
they don't.
podcasts, good sir.
Right.
Call them podcasts. Actually, where is my Zoom?
Uh,
It's in this drawer.
I was like, oh man, where's
I
my
have one in here. Oh,
I have
here it is.
my
It's
Zoom
it's
base
it's
station?
it's right next to my Talk Boy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then the Zoom. Yeah,
Nice. Oh, you got the fancy one.
yeah, the HD.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome back in the day.
Still awesome.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it still works.
Probably still
too.
works. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
solid stuff. What the fuck are we talking about? Zoom? iPod's
Oh,
dead.
because iPod.
Because
got-
iPod died.
Yeah. So
The
we go back
day
to
the iPod
So,
died.
does this mean that essentially the digital music MP3 player, quote unquote, dedicated, like that era is dead, right? Like it's over.
I think so.
I will tell you. So fun fact, weird story. So
Yeah.
my wife was going to a toy convention in Chicago last month, and she was going out. She was doing it by car with another family, and they were
Okay.
driving to Chicago.
Okay.
And she was like, "I don't want to try to stream music on my phone. I don't want to do all this stuff. Do you have like an iPod I could use or something?" And I dug through the desk and I pulled out some stuff. But at
Yeah.
the same point, I was like, well, we're at a store right now. I'll go see if they have a dedicated MP3 player I could buy. If the iPod doesn't work, if it doesn't, the battery's bad in it, I'll
Yeah,
just go and see if I can
'cause-
buy one. I go to the electronics department at the store. I'm like, hi, I was wondering if you have any MP3 players that I don't see any out here, or where would you keep them? And the young person working at the electronics department looked at
fuck.
me and was like, a what? You want to buy a what?
Greg, I'm sure you felt old when he said that to you.
Uh-huh.
I feel pain hearing it.
What, asking for one, or
No,
or
his response. Like, I feel the pain. Like,
What's
so-
an MP3?
well, and then he was like, we do sell CD players. Do you want a CD player? And I was like, no, I don't want a CD player. I want an MP3 player, a dedicated MP3 player. And he goes, you could just stream music on your phone, sir. And I said, thanks for the help. I'll go figure this out. So, but I set her up with the iPod actually worked out, and then she was super excited, and then she saw the news and she was super sad because she was like, I just found this thing that I like now.
I mean, it's not that they're going to stop working.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's an Apple product, so they will probably deprecate the iTunes software. Sorry, is iTunes even still a thing?
No.
No. So there you go.
You can rip all your music and put it on there. That's what I did for her.
Yeah, the software technically still works.
Yeah.
But
like I have a 2017 Mustang, and if I plug a USB stick with MP3 files on it, it plays.
Sure.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, no, it's an end of an era. It's a device and an era that generated so much stuff. Like, we are doing a podcast right now. Like,
oh wow,
that is how much of an impact that device had. Like, yes, MP3 players existed before the iPod. I am, as much of an Apple zealot I am, my first MP3 player was a fucking Nomad 2 by Creative. It had the fucking fat flash card that slipped over the one AAA battery that it had.
Nice.
And it was awesome. I could have I think it was 35 songs or something. God, this is rad. That's so many more than a CD. Yeah, I had the 2, the second version.
I had the one, whichever one was basically a hard drive with a screen.
It had a little bit of a screen, but it was it wasn't much more than a fucking
like a 5-line display.
Yeah, like a little LCD clock face. It had maybe the time, maybe, and then the track title, and then the really terrible you'd see the letters flashing as they're scrolling to the left, and then if you were running with it and you bumped it too much, the little card would move too much and be like, oh, card read error.
No, mine was actually a hard drive, whichever Nomad that was.
Oh, okay. I would imagine it was probably after the Creative 2, since that would have been the iPod era then, and the one I had was before the iPod.
Yeah.
Because everybody would have then probably copied the iPod, oh, let's put the little hard drives in it. But it's sad. It had a huge impact. We're still using the term podcast today. I believe the lexicon on it changed back in 2018. Somebody changed the lexicon on podcast to include pod is the all-encompassing media, or some fucking shit like that. And it's okay, I understand what you mean.
Look, I'm an Android fanboy, and I will respect the pod name.
Sure.
Right.
Well, and it's just one of those things. It's so rare that there are, things become like Kleenex and Band-Aid and stuff.
How many times have you Googled something in Siri?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's so many things.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna say, I remember when I got my first iPod, my dad was like, "So what do you put on this? Do you get iTunes to put iPods on there, or is this an iPod that you put iTunes on, or do you need iTunes to make the iPod work, or do you have to get pods to put into the pod? I don't understand this thing. And he was just like, just take it, just take it. And he just like pushed it across the table to me for my birthday, and I was like, okay, I'll
And which version of QuickTime did you need?
yeah.
It's true. You did always need that.
I'm trying to remember. It was like the third generation of
Yeah.
of iPods. So
That was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had every version of the mainline iPod. Because like with that Creative 2 MP3 player, it was a hand-me-down from my dad because my dad got the first iPod. And then when there was the next iPod, I got that iPod. So I remember rocking the original iPod, which was a fat fucking brick. Like, they were not as thin as they ended up being. It had like the full-size Firewire port on the top. It was huge. You'd like look into it and be like this abyss. And it had a physical wheel like that actually spun. And it was like, dang, this is crazy. And I remember selling my iPod to a friend at a mall to get the one. Mine was black and white, and I sold it to get the color one before the video. And I had the color one. I was like, oh my god, pictures. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna look at 400 pixel porn and shit on my fucking iPod and stuff. Oh, yeah, look at that resolution, baby. So many colors.
I hate it here.
Do you remember when you could watch a video on there though, and like on one?
That changed my life. I must have watched because it was only. I remember because I had it on day one because I was like, oh my god, video! I have to fucking have that. And they only had Battlestar Galactica and Lost. And those are the only things that they had. And I was into both of them already, so I was like, hell yeah. And I must have watched. Fuck, I remember, I have this vivid memory of like watching Battlestar Galactica standing in line at fucking Costco. Like, it's just like, it was so good. And I was the fucking dumb kid that had the fucking, I remember camping with the video iPod, and I had like a little speaker set up in a dock, and like be in my tent, like fucking watching Lost and shit on camera.
That is the only time that becomes cool. That is the only instance where that becomes cool.
And I had the 30-pin dock connector that switched to RCA cables, so I could output the video to any fucking TV. I was like, I remember like my friends in the neighborhood be like, "Oh, hey, you got the episode of fucking Battlestar or Lost or whatever it is?" Fucking, I'd come over with this fucking 6-foot fucking cable and
plug it in.
iPod. Yeah, and plug it in, and it would play and shit. And it probably, if we were to look at it now, it's probably shit quality. But at the time, we're like, "Oh my god, it's playing off of this tiny little Game Boy," Like, it's fucking magical.
Oh, I mean,
and that was, it was magical.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have Lord of the Rings if it wasn't for the iPod. I mean, no, I mean, because okay, so like to shuttle all the dailies back and forth,
was that a thing?
Peter Jackson.
Really?
Peter Jackson would put all the stuff. He would have it dumped onto an iPod.
No shit.
Yeah,
because of the size of the storage, right?
Yeah,
you could use it like a little portable hard drive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that.
So he's using that as to bring all the footage and stuff like that. So
that's crazy. I didn't know that, or maybe I did. I don't know. That's crazy.
Little tidbits. I mean, this is like the weird information that's tucked in the back of my head.
Hey, all good here. It's all good here. So iPod's dead. Right, Mr. fucking Android. Did your Google I/O event? I watched it. I watched the whole actual thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's some interesting stuff. I think the Pixel Watch is interesting.
That's about the only thing I found interesting. Yeah.
Super, super, super Apple-like. Like it literally looks like this watch now, but round, which is not a bad thing.
You mean like this watch right here?
Yeah. What do you have? You have a Galaxy?
Samsung, yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I thought the thing with the glasses and like showing subtitles of a different language while talking to another person was kind of cool. Like that's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's I think that's the best case use for AR at the current time.
Yeah,
At this current time, like active translation makes total sense.
it does. I
But I
do
don't know
doubt
that
how
it's going to catch
smooth it
on.
is. I do doubt
Huh?
how smooth it is because the video they showed was like it was like a proper video presentation and there was like floating words like a
I
CGI
have
thing and I'm like,
I have
okay, but
used
maybe.
active translation on the phone. It's actually probably pretty close to that.
Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting. I think,
So,
yeah, go ahead. I think I had a comment on the way they showed the watch and they showed like the bands like clipping in, much like the Apple Watch, but they had like a
right.
magnetic click, but they weren't really clear on if that was just like some fucking video thing or if that was like how they work. So that could be potentially interesting, I suppose.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you. I think it's curved because it's a round face. I think they rotate into and lock, and they
Okay.
just did both bands at the same time, right?
Hmm.
Like lined them. Like no one humanly would ever be able to do both bands at the same time. But
Okay. Fair enough. And then the last bit of technology thing, which is actually kind of a big thing. Um, I think it's a big thing because it's ironic because we were just talking about the iPod and podcasts.
mhm,
So Apple is going full hog on they're revamping the entire back end of podcasts, which is how we
mhm,
do quote
Interesting.
unquote business over here. They're adding um, subscriptions, they're adding subscription plans, and most interestingly, hosting partnerships with established um, hosting partners.
right.
Ourselves here at Fork, we use Libsyn, and they are indeed one of the partners, of which will be in this initial first offering of stuff.
Is
So,
Podbean in there?
I mean, I can look at the list right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't have it pulled up. The official list of stuff is Acast, Art19, Blueberry, Buzzsprout, Libsyn, Omni Radio, and RSS.com. It's the official list. So no Podbean.
Okay.
Um, this is significant because the update on the front end has already rolled out to Apple devices across the board recently, which is in preparation for when they will kick the switch on this in fall. This is interesting because for the first time ever on the uh, what one could argue is the predominant platform for podcasts, given that it birthed it, is finally getting features that other stuff like I believe Spotify has subscriptions now, if I'm not mistaken, for podcasts. So there is a future where we, as a small podcast who doesn't have any kind of fucking sponsorship or anything, can flick a button and make, say, a bonus episode. Hey, here you go. You want it? It's $1. And I'm like,
Right.
huh, this interests me as someone who has gotten close, but not close enough to get the all encompassing advertising dollar from our Libsyn service. So I don't know. What do you make about all of that? Since that is going to ultimately directly affect potentially how we do things in the future on this show. Because it takes it out of the you can do stuff like this on Patreon, right? But it's like okay,
Sure.
you're sending them to a link, you're sending them to another subscription thing.
Hmm.
You're paying for it outside of platform. This puts it in, oh, this show I love, hey, I can like subscribe and pay money to these people directly. So how do you feel about that as as my co-host, moving forward, and like I don't know, we could do bonus episodes and you complained at me that I should do a Patreon more than once.
Sure. And this has been a big kerfuffle in the streaming community and content creation in general,
Mm-hmm.
is what does the platform take as their cut?
That's a good question. I didn't look into that.
That's a
Right.
good question.
Greg's shaking his finger. He's like, yeah, that's an important thing. You should pay attention to that.
And that's the big thing. Like a lot of content creators with the know-how are fleeing Twitch currently and going over to YouTube, because the pay rates are better, the ad rates are better, and Twitch has been imposing all sorts of new restrictions on even affiliates. You get an affiliate, they're making the ads less intrusive but more frequent, and they're not modifying the pay scale. They're getting rid of bits and they're doing direct cash donations.
So the official statement from podcasters, Apple Podcasts for Creators.com, which is the Apple portal for this, is more details in the fall. We don't know.
So, yeah. So that's where the big thing is great. I would love to be able to monetize what we do here. I think we have enough fans, and an audience enough that would be like, hey, I like what you do. Keep doing it. We'll toss you $1.
Sure. I mean, it would be
if
it
you
would
make
be
it
it would be
convenient.
awesome.
Like,
it's the
yeah,
dream,
it'd be
right?
awesome.
We've only been doing this for fucking, or at least I've been doing this shit for like 13 years.
Right. I've been doing it with you for just over 2 now.
Yes.
But yeah, like when someone listens to it in their podcast app, is like, here, tip this guy $1. It's not there. That's not an option.
Sure,
So
it's
unless
true.
we
Hasn't been an option.
promote that at the end of our show every time, hey, hit our Patreon if you want to support us, blah 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 blah. Hey, it's your boy Nate Fu and Tim K. Trotter. Subscribe and like our channel. Right, all the other, the typical rhetoric of social media.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to monetize.
It has been a problem with the podcast platform unless you have, one of the reasons I chose Libsyn back in the day, because I've been with them, not the entire time, but at least a decade, maybe, was when you hit a consistent subscriber base of
Right.
10,000, which is pretty low bar in podcast standards, in my opinion. You get 10,000, like, we will fucking find you ads and we will monetize your shit. Like, that was always the premise with Libsyn. And the shows that I have done over the years, we've gotten close. This one has definitely had its up and downs,
Right.
Never have not, we've gotten close, but not quite enough.
Sorry,
or at least
I'm the down.
Or at least not enough consistently. Well, yeah. So I don't know. So Greg, I know
can neither confirm nor deny that. Yeah.
So Greg, I know you do 3 podcasts a week. Is that right?
Not a week, but I am like through the month. So
Okay.
one of them is pretty much every week. One of them, and the other 2 are they used to be pretty much on schedule, and then life happens for the co-host and stuff like that. So we just kind of trimmed it down a bit.
Yeah, I used to feel bad because I would always promise everybody, we're going to stay consistent and there's going to be weekly shows. And ironically, when Nate Fu became the new co-host, after the old co-host stepped down, and we switched to bi-weekly, that made everything on my life so much easier.
Right.
Yeah.
And it became so much easier to do it consistently, because my problem was when I would do it every week, not that I wouldn't do it every week because I fucking did, would be it'd always be the holiday time. End of
Mhm.
October
Yep.
to December, I'm basically fucked. And if I was able to get in or get a co-host, even, and I'd always be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, folks." And, couldn't get a
Yep.
Yeah.
co-host, and I was
And being a
busy, and
family man
fucking
myself, it was
family
like,
stuff, and like all this sort of stuff. And then it became, I would basically tell people, "It's like, all right, winter season's coming. I'm not promising you shows this time.
Hiatus.
Right.
It's like maybe it's happening, maybe it's not. You know,
Yeah.
if not, see you in the new year. You know, um, but thankfully, uh, you'll reliable horse there, Nate Fu. It's been very reliable. Oh my god, I don't ever want to hear you make that noise ever fucking again.
He does
Which
so
tells
well,
me
though.
that you're gonna fucking put it in your fucking soundboard as a thing.
It'll come back to haunt you.
It was like a fucking BoJack Horseman fucking
what do you expect from your Walmart
Nay.
Josh Brolin?
yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. See, that's
Damn.
hilarious that Greg laughed super hard at that. So I don't know if you saw
It means
I
he
see
sees
it.
you
I
saw
see
it. You saw it on Twitter that I called him a fucking Josh Brolin. It's true.
Well, like you see it there, and then to see it here.
Mhm. Yeah, I tell you, if he ever took off his fucking Tony Stark glasses, like he like Josh Brolin a little bit, a lot of bit,
A lot of it. A
Right
lot of
there.
it.
yeah.
Ow.
Oh, dang. Oh, that was good.
Yeah,
Your announcement though about the podcasting,
it's a big
and
deal. Honestly, it's huge.
it kind of it makes me wonder for someone that does, like, I'm part of a podcast network for these podcasts, how will that work? Because if we're tied in with a network that releases everything, will that one uh, will the host want some money? Will where how does it all play out when it pay out?
Sure.
Right.
And everybody has to get their nickel, right? So, and
Sure. I
there's
mean,
only
the only thing
so
that I can
many.
think is, yes, it's going to depend on what is the cut. We don't know what it's going to be when it
Right.
launches this fall, which is unfortunate. Which tells me that they're probably evaluating it probably to the very last minute, gathering every metric, talking to the Patreon people, how it's done over there, talking how it's done with the people who have like these deals with Spotify and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But it's
My biggest concern with any of these, and this is every platform, if your creator's cut is less than 50%, it's bullshit.
I mean, I agree with you, but
You're
at the
doing the
same
work, right?
time,
It should always be better than 50%.
but at the same time, I would rather be making something than nothing. And there has been
And that's why
we're
where we're at.
in 13 years where I have made some money on my podcasting endeavor.
That's the thing. The whole system has become so oppressive that you're like, I'd rather give me 10 cents.
Yeah, okay,
If
that's a fair.
Apple's making $10. Give me 10 cents of that. I'm fine with that because I'd rather make 10 cents than nothing at all. You're the creator. You're the talent. You should be making at least half of that.
You're simultaneously right on like both those fronts. Because I haven't made stuff, or the handful of times where I have, it was always a donation, or at one very brief point, one of the prior shows I did, we had a short T-shirt run. So it's interesting.
I was just going to ask about merchandise, because merchandise is definitely the way to go. I know for a fact on Nerds from the Crypt we do limited run T-shirts and stuff like that. We get to keep the proceeds of that. That is strictly going towards our own production and stuff. But I know that anybody that I know that's in a band, in comic book creation, in anything, it's all about I.
You lied to me.
I know a dude that he
You know where that shirt came from, did you? Don't you?
I do. I
Yeah.
100% know where that shit came from.
and shirts definitely pay for things, dude. Like that's like I know a guy that like his house was paid for by t-shirts on a band tour. So
No shit.
no shit.
Hmm.
I mean, big band,
Oh.
a lot of shirts.
Right.
But his cut
Right.
his cut from those shirt sales, he's like, he goes, when it came to CD sales and stuff like that, I don't see like I see
Sure.
not enough to live on. But t-shirts paid for this house.
I mean, if people see
Yeah,
a band, they're not
$5
gonna fucking
CD,
buy
$5 CD nets
CD
the
after
creator
the show.
4 cents, 4 or
Mhm.
5 cents.
Yeah. And then I mean in the current space that we're in, where people are paying just for $1 a song, or
Yeah.
they're just streaming something and you're seeing like I said, nickels on something, you're seeing just a small amount of that. So it's like you're even seeing less of that cut.
And merch is a double sale because you get the highest profit margins from it, plus you get exposure from the merch sale.
Mm-hmm. So people wearing that shirt go out there and somebody says, "Oh, what's that from?" And then they say, "Oh, it's this podcast that I listen to that I like. You should check it out." And they listen to it and they're like, "Holy crap, I really do like this. I'm going to listen to it all the time, subscribe to it. I'm going to buy one of these shirts." And then all of a sudden now you got $15 and a new listener.
Yep.
And they're a walking billboard.
Yeah.
Make shirts.
That's true. Well, maybe
I have merch.
I know you have merch
Tim.
on your other podcast. I know.
I have personal merch
What
for
personal
the
merch
stream
do you have?
channel that I haven't streamed from since December. I have personal merch.
I didn't know you had merch for that.
Yeah.
Is it
I
all
have
in
some.
that the black and the N8 foo
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
I had no idea
Yeah.
you had merch for that stuff.
Yeah.
How much dust has it got on it?
Print on demand. Doesn't gather dust at all.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And that's a good way to do it.
But that's profit margin, right?
Yeah.
They sell them for $15. I make $4 on it. Whereas if I had them in stock, I could sell them for $15 and make $13 on them.
Yeah, but then you might be stuck with a lot of weird sizing that you don't want to have. I know we do that with the store, and it's like, oh, hey, all of a sudden you've got nobody wants like smalls, but everybody wants double XLs, but then
your audience is large.
Yeah.
Very large.
You need large, XL, and double XL. But print on demand, that's the way to go.
Right. But margins aren't great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Nate Fu will have to do some planning for this future of the podcasting landscape that's going to change this fall. Maybe we'll have to do some of these things that you guys are always telling me to do that I don't do.
Right.
So
snapback hats. You just snap the back.
I have a hat. I have a Nate Fu hat.
Why don't you ever wear this stuff, man?
I don't self-promote.
Okay.
I wear my Junior Braves hat like pretty much every day.
Yeah. Isn't it on your other Twitter?
I think so. It might be. I don't know.
What the hell's the difference between those two Twitters again?
One is like the professional Twitter, and one is the one I set up when I first joined Twitter, and it like I don't know. My wife told me I should have a more professional Twitter, but both of them are essentially the same. So
I wondered about that because sometimes you will private you'll DM me from one and then you'll DM me from the other, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah. To some of the people that I work on projects with, like I was like, do you want to run the gambit? And they're like, what? And I'm like, I'm gonna message you from every single social media, and then we're gonna find out where this conversation goes. And it's like they're getting messages from like 3 Twitters, an Instagram account or 2, TikTok, Facebook, an email, a text message, a phone call. but it's fun to see how the conversation pans out and what we end up with.
Right.
But alrighty, I think that takes us to the end of this episode. We'll forgo our new topic because we have a guest and it's super late. So yeah,
It's only 1 a.m.
Ooh, what? No new topic?
did
I'm
you
just joking.
did you want the new thing? Because I honestly did not fucking prepare for it.
No.
So we introduced it. I'll tell you what that is though. So we introduced
Oh.
this thing where we ask each other 5 insightful or thought-provoking questions, and we go round robin at each other with these
Did
questions.
we not do that all show?
Huh?
So did we not do that all show?
Right.
No, maybe.
You asked questions all show,
I mean, it is. I'm host, of course. I'm
and they
supposed
were
to ask.
very
question.
thought provoking.
Okay, cool. All right.
I mean, I think if our guests, or not our guests, our audience wants us to ask 5 thought-provoking questions to each other, provide the questions. We'll ask them. We'll answer them.
It's true. We would
Right.
like our audience to be more involved than they are. They're so silent. I complain about it every fucking episode.
Right.
Which is
Ask me
hilarious
anything,
because
I'll
I know
answer
how
it.
many
I
fucking
may-
listen to this show. Don't fucking look at me.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm
I will.
disappointed
I
as
will
a
always
returning guest.
answer any question asked of me. So,
Yeah.
especially at the end of the show.
Yeah. How many whiskeys are you in now?
2.
Okay. Fair enough. Reg,
Yeah.
the finalness. The stuff you would like to direct our audience to. Pimp your wares,
All right.
my friend.
Okay, well, I will tell you, you can find me at That Amazing Twit on Twitter or Instagram. Those are where you'll find all of the happenings and whatnots and fun pictures and reposts from the TikToks. Or you can find me at my other, the GK Wordsmith, which is also the TikTok moniker. For those who didn't listen to the previous podcast, we did talk about Scrape, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you should go back Scrape. It's my buddy C Ray Gun's Kickstarter that I'm assisting with, and we're moving through the paces on this thing right now, so I'm pretty excited about it. So go check it out.
Yeah, he gained at least one more Kickstarter this evening because I backed it in between our
Woo!
shows.
Oh, you're the raddest. Appreciate it. And then I'm gonna pimp my wife's store. If you're ever in the Kent area, come check out the Retro Emporium.
It's Washington State, not Washington, the district.
Yeah, Washington State. We are just south of Seattle, and we were just on the King 5 evening TV
Fuck,
show.
I forgot to see that. I
oh,
had
it
like
is
a
a-
reminder and everything, and
Ah,
I don't remember what shitty thing happened that day.
it's on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube.
Okay.
It was pretty. It was funny because like when they came to interview her, so they came, they did the interview, and I showed up after getting off my day job, and I get there, and as soon as I show up, there's an incident next door at the convenience store, and I walk in, and she's just like, go out the back, and I run out the back, and I hit the back, and the owner of the convenience store and like 2 customers and a neighbor are out there, and I'm like, what's going on? And apparently a dude decided to relieve himself all over the store. So it typical downtown stuff, you know. So I waited for the cops to show up, and you know they took her statements and stuff. But I get back in, and you know the nice folks from King 5 were like, what happened? And I was like, oh, it's just normal downtown stuff. Just normal downtown stuff. And they're like, oh.
It's just wrong that that's normal downtown stuff.
I know.
Well, if you knew Kent,
It's
I live in LA. Yes, I
it's
know
true.
Kent.
well, we made a shirt. We made a shirt that said "Straight Outta Kent,"
Oh,
and it was
shit.
ironic. It was
Right.
ironic
Yeah.
a year ago when we made it, because it was just like, oh, it was funny because we're a retro store, And Kent in the last year, as Tim can attest, it's a rough spot, and sometimes it's on the police blotter a lot. And
Yep.
I mean, it's but I love it. It's home. It's where I live. So
that's how I feel about where I'm at.
Yeah, it's just you take the good, you take the bad. There you got the facts of life. That's what it is. But yeah, no, come check out the store. It is the gem of downtown Kent, and while you're there, we'll direct you to some other great gems as well. But yeah, there's that.
Sweet.
Tim, it's like the look on your face is just like, wow.
I mean,
you wanted an insightful story.
I haven't made it to this fucking store, and so much has happened to the store by me not making to it, and I feel guilty every single fucking time.
We had a flood. We had a fire. We had.
I don't know about the fire.
Oh yeah, no, that was a thing. It's just, I mean, it happened. It's a big deal. Okay. That's why we had a flood.
It's why you had a flood? Was because there was a fire?
There was a fire. There was a whole bunch of stuff happened. I mean, you know, the last couple of years have been weird. You know, what can I say?
They have been very fucking weird. Everyone on the planet can probably attest to that.
Yeah,
it's true. I remember actually at one point, I think end of 20. No, there was I remember one conversation with my wife, and I was like, sounds like the Retro Emporium is like having limited people in. We should go. She's like, why the fuck would we go? And I was like, because Greg and his wife, and you met them.
You would have gone in, and you would have got the velvet rope treatment, because I was like holding the door, and it was like going into a nightclub, because I was like classic old Nate Foo right there, bouncer style at the door, my hoodie on. No, I'm sorry, we can only have 5 at a time. So you had a personal shopping experience with yourself and your wife and 2 to 3 other people. Yeah, it was great. The times were crazy. There was a line down the street. People were like, "What's so great about this place? How come there's a line?"
Did you guys have a crazy line?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Like most Saturdays, and I would be standing out there in the rain, and people were like, I was like, "Just come back later." No, we got to stay in line.
Wow. Well, that's a good problem to have.
I guess, yeah.
It's a good problem to have. Don't say it.
It was first world problem, right?
Yeah.
I
mean, I humble brag. If it wasn't for honestly, if it wasn't for all the great people that came out to the store during all that time, we wouldn't have survived the fire and the flood. So it sounds like our store's on the Little House on the Prairie. But you know, it's true though. I mean, we have a great customer base, so
awesome.
They show.
All right, Nate.
Good stuff.
Nate, closing remarks.
Got none. Good night.
Classic. And I'm your host, as always, Tim K. Trotter, signing off.
It's quarter after 1.
The end of a long week.
Yeah.
As always, Fork Fam, get forked. Thank you for listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
Armado, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast.
The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival by author Tim K. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99.
What was your original gamer tag, if you don't mind me asking?
Hexed, HEXXED.
Ah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I used to, back in the arcade days, that was my 3-digit or my 3-letter acronym that I'd put in there. But, you know, when Xbox came around, it was like, you need a minimum of 6 letters in your gamer tag. I'm like, well, okay, let's throw some X's in there. So, yeah, Juvenile was born, and I went, I need to get away from that.
I'm going to do a
Yes.
quick check of the prior audio file to make sure.
Okay.
Do you mind if I
Potty break, yes.
Yeah.
Potty break for myself.
Breaks.
Yep.
Yes.
Sweet. I'll be here checking stuff.
All right.
All right, regular show with guests.
Round 2, yes.
Round 2.
Flux capacitor is fluxing.
Yep. All right.
I have my libation.
Yep. He's got his libation. I've got my libation. Actually, no, I'm halfway done with this can. So our moderator,
We shall see how the night takes us.
Our moderator, Fork Daniel, he got back from his sister's wedding, and apparently his aunt has opened up a vodka distillery. And he brought me
Interesting.
some. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a Wanted Feelin' Cocky vodka.
So I found out an interesting fact on, you know, you used to see the moonshine bottles and whiskey bottles and everything, and your bottle there brought this up with the triple X's on it. Speaking of juvenile gamer tags.
X is the proof?
No.
That's what I always thought.
Nope. What it was, back in the day when you were distilling, to make sure you got it through the right amount of times, you'd distill it once, you'd draw an X. You distill it the second time, you draw an X. And the third pass is what did it. So you'd get 3 X's on your bottles.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I actually didn't know that. I always thought it had
Yeah.
something to do with proof.
Nope. I found that out on another podcast I was listening to on what the reason behind the 3 X's were. Because apparently they were having a moonshine discussion, and their bottle only had 1 X. Mm-hmm. And it was very, very unrefined. Let's put it that way.
I see. Well, alrighty. Let's do a proper show with a guest.
All right.
In 3,
guest.
2, 1. Cut in.
Cut in.